Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
This podcast is brought to you by the Jefferson County Department of Health.
As we move into the Thanksgiving and Christmas season during the time of COVID-19, we need to make a few important considerations. Firstly, COVID-19 transmission is increasing across the entire United States. In fact, we're seeing more cases per day than we have at any point during the pandemic so far. Because of that, we recommend against having gatherings with people outside of your household. However, if these gatherings are to occur, we do recommend a few safety measures to make these events as safe as possible for all people involved. Firstly, know before you go. Get a COVID-19 test prior to having an event and understand what your status is. Next, quarantine for 2 weeks prior to the event. This would mean staying away from people outside of your household for the 2 weeks leading up to the event to decrease the chance of bringing COVID-19 to that event. Next, gather outside and limit the size of the gathering as much as possible. By being outside in the open air, you decrease your chance of spreading COVID-19. And finally, wear a mask while you're not eating. It's one of the most important tools that we have to decrease the spread of COVID-19. By following these bits of guidance, you should be able to have as safe of a holiday as possible and protect your loved ones. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Jarvis Escott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today I have the honor and pleasure of being with Mr. David Maluff. He is one of the co-owners of Full Moon Barbecue. Mr. Maluff, good morning.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you for inviting me into your many restaurants right before lunchtime. You even actually got me kind of hungry. Want to get some barbecue right now myself, and I can smell the barbecue. One of the reasons why I want to bring Mr. Maluff on today is to just talk about the great Full Moon story. Unless you live on the rock here in Birmingham or anywhere in the Southeast, we all know what Full Moon Barbecue is. So, Mr. Maluff, first start off, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
So, tell us your story and how did you and your brother get into the restaurant business and get involved with Full Moon?
Well, my brother Joe and myself took over Full Moon in 1997. We bought it from Pat James and Eloise, which was a one-store unit on South Side. It's a institution of Birmingham. If I look at it that way, then and now, it's our bedrock of where we are today. We built great relationships there. We had great food, great pricing, and that's what we took when we took it over. The three standards we did, and we took that little 40, 50 seat restaurant and knew what we had to do to build a brand. And it started with our best barbecue, our best pricing, and our customer service, knowing our customers, making our friends, because we enjoy people.
Okay, so I know Birmingham is the home, as we call it, like the barbecue capital of the South. What makes Full Moon Barbecue different from those other restaurants?
Well,
here?
let me tell you, Birmingham has some terrific barbecue restaurants. I mean, we are saturated with barbecue and competition in this market, just like Memphis is. And to make a difference, is we had one store, and I believed if we did things right, I knew I could do it over and over and over again. And we started with the basics, cook open pit barbecue, open wood fire pit. We cook everything fresh, Our chow makes a huge difference on our. That's why we bought it. Is our items were different than just meat, sauce, pickles on a bun. Our chow makes a huge difference on our product. It's spicy, yet not too spicy. It's got a little crunch to it, a zing, as they say, and it makes a world of difference. And when we put it on every plate, every sandwich we sell.
Just out of curiosity, how many slabs of ribs on an average day you probably go through?
Between 300 and 500 slabs.
Okay.
500 toward the weekends, but usually between 200 and maybe 300 on the weekday. Depends on what store, what area you're in.
One thing I like about y'all got wide selection. So for those who didn't want to get pork, they can get turkey, they can get salad, they can get fish.
Well, when we were downtown, we just had a very limited menu as we do now. For me to grow the business like I wanted to, I wanted to be able to be looking attractive to families. If I wanted the families and kids to come eat with me, all kids and don't eat slabs of ribs and barbecue. Kids wanted burgers, they wanted big baked potatoes. They wanted nice salads. You know, so nachos we became an all-around restaurant for our family community. If you can't come here and find something to eat, something's wrong.
Well, one thing I also like is how you all really kind of like really adjusted the menu over time, like you were saying. You adjusted.
We had things occasionally on the menu. Currently at this location, we started testing chicken fried steak.
Oh, wow.
And we'll try that here for a while, you know, and see how the customers get feedback from them. And if it does well like it has been, then we'll do another store and do one at a time. So, and get our customers' feedback is very important to us.
All right. So, not trying to make you biased, what are some of your favorite items on the menu?
My favorite items are the things we always started with. I loved our outside meat that we cook on the pit. You only get outside meat if you have an open wood burning pit. Number two is I love our turkey. You know, it's a whole breast, white meat, cooked 3-4 times a day. It's one of our favorites.
So, you know, when you take notice of the time I'm meeting you in the midst of COVID-19, how did COVID-19 affect you all's business?
COVID-19 was interesting for everybody in the restaurant business. I had to take a look at it as, thank God we do have a drive-through, that we stayed open during the times that everyone was shut down. And we got to employ a lot of the people and started laying them off. We still haven't laid anyone off during that time. But our drive-through business was always a big part of our business. We're not fast food, but it takes a little bit longer, but we try to keep everyone happy. The trying times was, you know, keeping everybody healthy, going through the sanitation, going through the gloves, masks, sanitize your hands, wash your hands, checking temperatures, you know, the employees coming in every day. So we did all the standards that the health department required us, and we implemented that every day.
All right. Well, let me kind of go back. You all started, right? You know, you came. The Full Moon was over around the '80s, but you came and took over around in the '90s.
That's correct.
What advice would you give yourself, maybe 20 years ago, that you know now?
Oh, 20 years ago. That's a good question. I think that taking more risk, than being safe. And I think when you're an individual and you don't have a lot of money, to take a risk like that helped us catapult us where we are today. You know, if we didn't, you know, with the menus and the changes, that we wouldn't be as successful or a family restaurant like we wanted to be.
Well, one thing I've noticed when I did my research on you, and I really kind of love and admire that you say you're in the people business.
We are.
And I just can't explain that a little bit more.
Well, let me tell you, this restaurant is nothing but brick and mortar.
Okay.
With our people running it, operating it, and being who we are as my brother Joe and I, you know, in the stores, if they can't take our place, we will never be as successful. You know, we have to have people who are like people, who want to be around people, and we pretty much do that. You know, it takes time for people to cultivate, you know, to be outgoing and seeing how they are, not as a business owner, but as a personal owner, in a sense of feeling for the people and understand where they are, what they're coming from, and if they have needs, we can go beyond and help them out.
Okay, so you all are very involved in the community. Can you tell the audience some of your past projects? Because I've seen the Full Moon logo, and I guess I can ask you how you come up with that logo in a second. But I see, what's some of the...
Well, we've done a lot of community involvement because that's where we came from, the community. And we want to always give back to the people who support us. And we've done several things this year because of COVID. One is Feed a Friend. We came up with that during times that people needed to be fed. And we fed every week. We fed, I think, up to 85 to 100 people in the 3-month time that we did it. We dropped off food, didn't ask any questions who nominated them, and they enjoyed it thoroughly. And it felt to us good because we got to give back to the community. And the other thing is we did a blessing called Backpack Blessings for the kids who didn't have the backpacks, who didn't have the schools. Pens, pencils, notebooks, and we did a real nice backpack and gave that to the community through nominations.
All right, and one of the things I've noticed, and in Birmingham, that's like sleep on the rock, there's a lot of full moons all across the area. as far as like growth and expansion, what factors do you all consider when opening up a new location?
First of all, we go in an area that, if it's concentrated, that we can be in and dominate in the sense of doing things like we should be doing. We just got open one in Huntsville this year. Great community. They open arms with us, doing real well. We just look, and we're opening another one in Mississippi next year, because it's an open market, that there's not a lot of competition, and since doing what we do the old-fashioned way. And we try to embrace a community that's community-minded, family-minded, and that we go into and embrace ourselves with them.
Now, one thing I've noticed, and I say you can go in any of your locations, the amount of sports memorabilia you have at every location. I feel like it's almost like you walk into, it's better than a sports bar, because you all got so many different jerseys that all signed, and Alabama, Auburn, UAB, everything.
We love sports. That's what brought us to this environment, is sports, our connections with people in sports. And what we did was just capitalize on what people love. People love sports. They can't live without sports. And so we try to, we make friends with these athletes. They send us their jerseys. We get their jerseys. And we try to always make it a fun place for young kids to come in, watch sports, as well as look at all the history of sports. Football, basketball, any girls swim team, golf, anything.
Well, one thing I want to go back to earlier, and you didn't even, but I want to actually, congratulate you on this. I can't tell the difference between a franchise full moon and a full moon that's owned by you all. It's like it's the same identity. And a lot of times when you like franchising, you can tell the difference.
Well, before we franchise, we always make sure the relationship fits with both of us.
Okay.
And they work with us, they train with us, and if we feel like they're not able to do what we do outside the community, we won't. I don't bring them on. I don't need a store that bad. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking at how many stores I can get. I look at how many quality stores we can duplicate that we have to grow like we do.
All right, and I guess 2 more questions. Oh, okay, I know it's about lunchtime, and I smell the barbecue. I almost want to eat something.
We're going to feed you before you leave.
Okay. As far as what direction do you see, take COVID out of the picture, see the business going in the next 3 to 5 years? Your business or just the restaurant business?
I think in the next, I don't really look at how many stores I can have in 5 years, because like I said, we go based off of who we have that we train in-house to go out and duplicate what we do. So, for instance, if there's 2-3 people that's in our system now that they grow with us and that we can put in business, we'll do that. And all of a sudden, the locations are easy to find. The money's easy to have. But what it is the people who we have, who operate them, that makes the difference. That's who we are. So I'm not looking at competing with anybody and how many stores they have. If I can just do the store that we want to do it right, then we will.
Okay, and well, I guess too, I know, I love getting in front of you because you get somebody and just ask them, just got questions for days. But
that's okay.
Two, I promise. What advice would you give? And I always like to go into the idea of my viewers who's watching, someone that's starting a restaurant to try to get over to the next hump. What advice would you kind of tell them?
Don't cut any corners.
Okay.
Always make the guests that come in like family, and give them the best product that you have. You can serve them. As long as you serve someone good quality food with good pricing, you'll be successful. Then after that, it's about location. At what level you want to be at. If you have a great location, of course you can do well, but it's going to cost you a lot more money too. So don't be scared. If you believe in what you do, go for the best location you have and give it your best.
And one final question. This is a very easy question. Might be a challenging question.
Oh, Lord.
In your free time, besides sleeping and spending time with your family, what do you do?
I love spending time with my wife and kids. They're growing in a sense of where they're going in their life. It's always challenging and exciting to see your kids grow up and do what they want to do. And my wife is amazing. She's always with them, so I can always learn from them through their beliefs in the church, giving back to the community, and being a good person internally. Because there's a lot of things out there in the world right now that you don't want your kids to do: smoke, drink, drugs. you know, it all starts at family. So I enjoy being part of that with them to grow their lives where they want to be.
All right, well, David, I'm gonna come David now. Start off saying,
That's
Mr.
okay.
David, feel like a friend. I've known you for years. Thank you for coming on the podcast
Well, I
today.
appreciate you coming here, and I hope you have some good barbecue before you leave.
Yeah, that person, I've enjoyed your barbecue for years. I want to say that, especially on the 4th of July and Labor Day. You know. But thank you for coming on today. Thank you all for watching this podcast. Please check out what'shappenedbirmingham.com for more interviews, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.